Head out to the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Shea Dixon, Bengal Tiger on 3, joins us. Shea D, how are you?
I'm doing well, hon. How are you?
I'm good. So I know that you're posting like hundreds of tidbits a day on the message board, so I'm assuming you didn't hear the first hour of my show today. Is that correct?
Break it down for me. I did not.
Okay, so I did a segment where I took all the LSU players that transferred out in basketball as well as the signing class, and I gave kind of an update on what they're doing and what's going on. Is there any specific LSU player from last year that may have transferred out that you'd like an update on?
I mean, are you going to take me straight to Birmingham?
I'm going to take you straight to Birmingham. Old Eric Gaines, 12.6 points per game, 4.5 dimes per game, shooting almost 38% from 3. He's doing it big for the Blazers.
He's also gone viral on Twitter a number of times because of his dunks, so there's been that too.
My guy loves him some Eric Gaines, sadly, doing it for Andy Kennedy over in Birmingham. And not
Hey,
in the PMAC these days.
He put 22 on La Tech this month.
How about that? See? It's in there. You never know. My boy Shea D just loves him some Eric Gaines. All right, let's talk some recruiting. How weird is it for you that the last week in January is fairly slow as opposed to what it was the first decade you did this?
Oh, man, the days of not only the recruiting bash, which, the early signing period killed, now I'm quite confident that February signing day is dying altogether, soon to be extinct with the dinosaurs. I mean, it is, you look around the country, Hunt, and there are few and far between guys who are still uncommitted going into signing day, having a big announcement, and that's a product of the December early signing period. More teams want to get guys enrolled early. Them having official visitors for juniors in the spring of a junior year, which they never had. So a lot of kids take visits, and they've already decided where they want to go, and then they're more than ready to sign early in December. February signing day is certainly not what it used to be. I mean, I said this coming out of December signing period, they may sign no high school guys the rest of the way, and that could be the case.
So that was going to be my next question, so we'll move on from it. Like, have you seen a difference in the willingness to give offers now that there's not a 25 cap and you don't have to be as careful with, we might run out of room here? Like, are they offering more players, or are they still as selective as ever?
No, because I think they're as selective as ever, because you don't want to have to hand out a bunch of offers and then take commits and drop them or turn kids away, and all that stuff obviously matters, and you don't want a bad reputation for that. I think the no cap on the 25, like for instance, LSU signed 25 in December, and that's may well be where they're at. So they're right at what the normal cap would be. I could go right now and give you, let's see, the team rankings. LSU's in the top 5. Bama has 28, Georgia 26, Texas 24, Ohio State 20, LSU 25, and then so forth. Miami 25, OU 25, Notre Dame 24. So everyone's still hovering around that 25 cap, what was previously the cap. I just think they're all spending their extra scholarship now on more of a sure thing, which would be transfer portal additions and filling, if you've got 7, 8 open spots on your roster, you're not going to, instead of signing 33 high school kids, sign 25 high school kids and get 7 or 8 kids out of the portal that you think can come in and kind of help you right away.
You said it would not surprise you if LSU did not sign another high school player in this cycle. We'll flip that on it. Would it surprise you? Would you be surprised if in 8 days they said, yeah, we signed this 3-star from here?
No, because they really are in it now with one kid, Jamel Howard, who's a 3-star out of Chicago, defensive tackle, and he is a product of blowing up as a senior, had a big senior year. All of a sudden in December, Hunt Palmer's sitting here, and I've got an Illinois offer, and Wisconsin's kind of flirting with me, but then I just put out my film, and Michigan offers, and Wisconsin offers, and then LSU offers, and it's right up against signing day, and you're kind of like, hey, I don't need to sign early. I should probably wait till February. And he kind of bet on himself there and picked up even more offers. And he was at LSU this past weekend. He was going to go to Ole Miss. Now he's going to Miami instead this weekend. And it seems like it's kind of a Wisconsin, LSU, Miami, Michigan group that's kind of battling here at the very end. So I would not be surprised if they landed him. He would be a true nose tackle, which they don't have in this class right now, at least in the high school ranks. But I don't think that they're a shoe-in to get him or anything like that. But that'll be the one we're monitoring.
I like that story a lot, and I like the position he plays. So wouldn't mind at all if he decided to come on down to Baton Rouge. So what are the coaches doing right now? Seeing juniors?
For the most part, yes, and kind of just touring around. They've got Brian Kelly's been going around the entire state of Louisiana, checking in on juniors, sophomores, meeting with head coaches. He did that right out of the gates kind of a year ago, but right then he was so fresh at things that now he's had a year under his belt. He's met a lot of these guys. He's signed a number of their players. So a lot of just rolling around to high schools, but then obviously position coaches are kind of all over the country checking in on high schools and really coast to coast. And if you're on social media or you're following any of that, you'll see every day 4 or 5 kids will pop up from juniors in high school or sophomores and say, hey, I got offered by LSU today. And that's usually because the coach had swung by the school and kind of handed the offer over. So we're in what they call the eval period, which is really just coaches on the road, handshakes and kissing babies and handing out offers.
When in this state, when we see a class coming that looks to be locked and loaded, like the 2011 class, like the 2015 class, you can kind of see it a couple of years off. I know that you've taken a deep dive on the Bengal Tiger on next year's Louisiana class. I'm not quite getting those vibes from you as far as the top end talent in this class. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think this current 24 class for Louisiana will be a lot of guys who are in that 4-star range. And I think they'll sign double-digit guys from Louisiana. But here early on, we haven't seen that, like, 2 or 3 guys, or not that many, 1 or 2 guys maybe that debut as sort of really high 5-star type players like, Zaylan's Hurd got there. Shelton Sampson was in that range. And there's many years where the state produces that. I don't know if it's going to be as top heavy as that. There are some really good players. I mean, Wardell Mack and Tylen Singleton and Jawan Johnson at LCA, a number of others that could well be top 50 players and could push for that. But more so, I think it's spread out to where there's, going to be well over 10 guys that they would look at and say, hey, what's the guy you take? But doesn't necessarily mean it's a bunch of Will Campbells and Zaylan's Herds walking around.
And the first response on the Bengal Tiger and the message board to you when you posted that, and it was the exact same thought that I had. It feels like one of those years where they're going to take a bunch of kids from Louisiana to camp, and they're going to see a bunch of kids at camp in the summer that go out there and compete and show out and go, oh, yep, that's going to be a take for us. Is that kind of the vibes you get from it?
Yeah, I think so. And certainly even guys with offers, when you go through camp, either you kind of say, oh, let's pull back a bit, or you say, man, this kid, we got to get him in the boat. And I love camp season. And like Frank Wilson, we went through all those years where it was, he demanded as recruiting coordinator that you almost didn't even get an offer. You couldn't commit until you did come to camp. And what they do is everything from almost an NFL combine type setting where you're running 40s and jumping, but you're also talking with the coaches. They go over film. They get an idea for kind of how you are in the film room, and then they have you out hands-on the practice fields where they're running a camp with all these different guys from around the country coming in to compete and earn offers or whatever it might be. So that's that evaluation point. That's the only point, even with all the changes to the NCAA calendar, that month or those 3 weeks in June are the only time coaches can actually be hands-on with kids, right? Like working them out, putting them through drills. So I understand why that's an important piece, and I actually like it in years. I think they hit really well in years where they really have everybody to camp. They get a good look at everyone, and you can move forward from there. And look, I can not even great players. Or guys who were 5-stars on. I can remember DJ Chark came to camp, and not many people even knew who he was. Walked away with an offer, and that's happened time and again where guys who end up being really good players sort of break through at that LSU camp.
No question about it. Last thing here, Shay, I opened my show yesterday saying, it dawns on me that after 3 years of just absolute upheaval every single offseason on the coaching staff, that LSU's kept everybody around from year to year and year 1 to year 2 in Brian Kelly's era here in Baton Rouge. How important is that in recruiting, that LSU's got the same staff they hired a year ago?
Oh, it's always important. I mean, I think continuity, whether it's with coordinators, and not turning them over year after year, or just coaches to help out in recruiting is massive. And look, so much is shook up now by the portal and guys leaving and everything that kind of comes with the new era of recruiting. But certainly not having to worry about a staff shakeup, at least by any large scale. Look, there hadn't been a single person on the staff kind of been shook up from their previous roll or leave or anything like that. So that definitely helps things continue to go smoothly. And more so, look, it's just as specific as give me a position quarterback like Joe Sloan. He's got his 24 quarterbacks, and now he's working on 2025 guys. Well, if he's still on staff, every year, well, then he's built up a rapport with these guys for 2 to 3 years, where a lot of schools will be recruiting against, so maybe bringing in somebody new or have only been on that guy for a year. So the more continuity you have year over year, recruiting-wise, the longer those relationships have been built.
Shea D, we appreciate it, man. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Hunt Palmer Show on YouTube. If you don't mind, throw us a like right below and hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.